the RAF can burn down and just disappear for all I care at this point.
It's not their finest hour anymore.
No, for people who don't know, they had probably the worst PR week ever. I mean,
I haven't followed any of this.
I just
So don't look at me. I have no idea what's happened.
I'll date everyone. So you can be my subject for
Yeah, okay.
someone who is just normie McNormie face.
Yeah. Just what? Why do we hate the RAF?
Before the RAF saved us in the Battle of Britain.
Yeah, that's exactly why.
No, it turns out instead they've decided that those who gave up their lives to free so many, they're white men, scum of the earth.
Most of them were, yeah.
Yeah, that's unironically now the official position of the RAF. So we'll start off with mentioning something on the website, being the Origin of Intersectionality podcast.
How did we arrive at this problem?
Some black Yankee woman came up with the idea that, what if we had a union of diversity?
Black Yankee communist
Yeah.
was like, hey, you know what? All of this success and prosperity, I hate it. Let's change it. And
Maybe this is the curse of the West.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, go and check out that. That's us talking about in detail where we got here.
It's certainly not going to bring about the revolution, is what her concern is, actually.
Yeah. But we'll get to the news, because to catch up people who may not know about the RAF, how they ended up down this rabbit hole, well, first and foremost, we'll just be told by Target's diversity and equity chief that the hardest thing to be in the world every day is black. Now, we're going to put this to the test with the following
She
news.
looks like she's doing great. I mean, look at where they are.
CEO of diversity in Target. But anyway,
Okay.
so the RAF had a leak a while back, which was not pretty, to say the least. They've had some previous leaks that we've gone over. This one here being the internal briefing note, telling everyone that they needed total inclusivity, which included learning, I think, 12 pronouns? 15?
Okay.
Something like that. If we can click on it just to make it bigger for folks at home, if they can read it. If they can't, I'll read it out. You got they, she, he, ze, per, them, her, him, her, their, her, hers, and pers.
But I love the way they preface this with common pronouns include. It's like,
Common.
yeah, include, but they also don't include z, zir, zem, whatever.
I thought you were talking to the taxi driver and he identified as per.
Oh, every time. Yeah.
Now, this was in 2020, as you may have noticed. And a lot of people were ringing alarm bell, those who sent us these leaks, for example. And the next one here being National Inclusion Week, in which they had self-criticism sessions on white privilege. If you can go back to that, we can sit.
Struggle sessions.
Yeah, just little struggle sessions for an hour. Come and talk to us about white privilege and why banter is not allowed. Okay. That's right, the Royal Air Force.
Too much banter going on.
Yeah. And then, well, someone principled finally had enough within the Royal Air Force and went, this cancer, I'm leaving.
Yeah.
And all honour and glory to this woman, actual hero. If you go to the next link here, this is Sky News, who I trust zero. So I think they're probably not even getting as bad as things really are.
Yeah.
But they say in here that, lady decided to refuse unlawful orders to prioritise women and ethnic minorities over white men, and she resigned. Good.
Good for her.
Sources described as an effective pause on offering jobs to white men in favour of women and ethnic minorities to hit, quote, impossible diversity targets.
Where have these targets come from?
Upon a high.
Exactly. That's the problem. I mean, this is an institution that's totally divorced from the free market. So this surely has to purely be some kind of internal coup that has happened in the armed forces and is now being imposed from above.
Well, let's say, for
Because some
example,
American communist was like, I hate America's prosperity.
Well, let's say, for example, you were in the central government, and because you're a communist leftist, you come up with the idea that there should be equality. You've not thought about this for more than 5 seconds. You just think black people make up 5% of population, so there should be 5% of fighter pilots.
They're only 3%.
I'm presuming that's the voice. But they came up with that. And then the RAF get applications for fighter pilots, and 99% are not black men. Well, they literally can't reach the target. That's the problem she was describing. So it was like, well, we literally have to approve everyone who's not even capable of the job to even get to not near the target.
Turns out the people most invested in defending Britain are the sort of indigenous British.
Strange.
Yeah.
So we've had a real problem recruiting the Muslim population.
Do you remember when the Ukraine war broke out and a bunch of students were trying to flee from Ukraine and they were getting stopped at the border? And this one guy was like, I can't fight for Ukraine, I'm black.
Yeah, I do.
They weren't having that.
Well, that was what happened. But we'll go to how the RAF has been treating us, because this is the newest news. White men applying for the RAF were described as useless white male pilots in leaked emails. This is how bad this is. Because...
Okay. Yeah, sorry, but just
we've had
yes.
suspicions.
He's a pilot. How useless.
We've had suspicions for
What
quite some
good would
time
a pilot be in the RAF?
about how disgusting the individuals running these schemes are and how they view us specifically.
Yeah.
It is not a slight, oh, I just run the numbers, I'm just part of the system kind of situation. And those people are actively disgusting because they will hate us on the basis of being white men. Even if you're a fucking fighter pilot, you are useless, according to them.
I don't mean to laugh, but it's so ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. All
White
those
male doctors and engineers.
useless
Ugh.
white male pilots in the Battle of Britain saved Britain from Nazi Germany.
No, but they are useless because they don't reach the quota.
Exactly.
That's-
They're literally of no use to the diversity officers.
And the full deets are within Sky News' reporting on it,
Oh, yeah.
at least the ones they've made publicly available. I think there's probably a lot more to come out if the truth was to be exposed fully. They say a number of selection boards to place new recruits on courses, a crucial part of maintaining the fighting strength of the RAF, were also cancelled if they did not include women or ethnic minorities, according to the messages, which has been seen by Sky News. So if we had a full roster and there were no women or minorities, but they were all capable, in fact, some of the most capable, that doesn't matter.
Not even slightly.
In which case, bin the entire cohort.
I mean, it's not like that we've got a country to defend or anything.
Got to throw the whole cohort out.
Armed forces, do we really need those if they're not diverse?
That is the actual position of the Royal Air Force, and has been now for several years. And the damage they've done already is measurable.
Let's hope this isn't, I don't know, broadcast across the news so Russia can find out
Yeah.
that our armed forces are literally collapsing from the inside.
I mean, there are a lot of jokes about Western militaries, and of course, we have fantastic technology. It is our one saving grace.
Thank God.
That we have the best technology on Earth in NATO.
Thank God the robots are going to protect us until they realise they don't need us.
But as for the personnel, I mean, the robot's only as good as the guy controlling it.
Fair.
So, they say here, it has also been revealed that the Air Force is paying £5,000 each to 31 white men, a total of £155,000. This is a drop in the bucket they're going to have to pay out.
But why are they paying it?
So-
Because they've been unfairly disadvantaged by... They've been racially discriminated against.
Yeah.
And now-
Directly, it's not, ooh, maybe the ghost of racism past is haunting the RAF and they've been discriminating against white men. No, we can directly point to where the discrimination took place.
So what I'm saying, gentlemen, is now is the time to apply for the RAF. Go get that bag.
Get the
Go
bag.
get it. Go get paid.
Because the thing is, that's what they're listing as what they're going to do, but every single white man involved should bring a lawsuit, and you will win because it is black and white.
Didn't get that promotion? Get in there.
No,
get in there.
Sincerely.
Yeah, I know.
That's what we're
I'm
talking
being
about.
totally serious.
So-
Make them pay you for this racial discrimination.
So they were found to have been unfairly disadvantaged by the recruitment policy.
Just like that police officer.
Direct discrimination.
You remember the guy who's...
Chester,
Yeah,
I think it
something
was.
like that. He was just like this unbelievably good candidate. And they're like, no, you're white.
It's like, I'm the guy from Hot Fuzz,
yeah.
the sheriff of London over
Yeah.
here. Yeah, but you are white. You don't fit in Sanford, Gloucestershire. Anyway, under the leadership of Air Chief Marshal Sir Michael Wigston, the head of the... I'm just going to call him Mike from now on because he doesn't deserve any of those titles. The head of the RAF.
Mike over here.
Yeah, Mike.
Crash.
I'm
feeling it. I'm feeling it.
seriously, about that guy, that's how I feel, because we'll go into why in a minute. He sought to boost female and ethnic minority ratios in the Air Force, according to the defence source. Now, this man is a liar.
Oh, is he?
Publicly.
Really? Who can imagine?
So if we go to the next one here, you may remember they put out this when we were covering it. At no point did the RAF recruitment process select ethnic minority and female pilots over better qualified white pilots.
Why are you paying it 150 grand then?
Shut up! Over 80% of our recruits during the period in question were white men.
Oh, yeah, really?
What percentage of those applicants were white men? What percentage of, I don't know, women and ethnic minorities failed to be selected? It's zero. It's 0%. If you want a job with the RAF and you're a woman or an ethnic minority, you have a 0% chance of failure.
On the plus side, though, if you're a white man, you've got an 80% chance of getting a payout.
Is that? He says the error that we have corrected and apologised for was the fast-tracking approximately 150 women and ethnic minority recruits who had already passed all selection standards into earlier initial training courses.
Sure they have.
Yeah, by definition, fast-tracking women and ethnic minorities over men and non-ethnic minorities is picking less qualified candidates.
Yeah.
That's what you did. It's what you've been found to be doing. And then these internal documents show the mindset you had whilst doing that, which was that there are useless white male pilots. Direct quote. I mean, I'm sorry, the way they talk about white men is actively hostile. The SJWs of Tumblr did grow up and get jobs.
Yeah, apparently they're now in charge of the RAF.
So if you get the next one, you'll also see anyone who criticizes him on Twitter, he just blocks.
What a snowflake.
Which is, we actually have snowflakes running the Air Force.
But the thing is, though, right? Okay, let's say that Russia does declare war on us. They're going to be like, right, okay, well, we're going to need fighting-age young men to come and defend the country. I'm not fighting for this.
I go to hell.
Yeah, I'm not fighting for this.
It is. It's going to get worse.
Of
So
course it is.
we'll go to the next one here, because you may remember as well, the Air Force are signing off with pronouns. This is one of the leaked emails from this story. So you have here Joe Lincoln. She says, course load the blank plus any remaining women and ethnic minorities into those priority professions that are ready, even if the EA candidates are not first past the post.
So the RAF is committed to increasing diversity, and hence we need to sequence inflow into our service. Clear every single one of these people out.
We need more browns. Why? Because
And-
my target.
And vaginas.
Yeah.
Why? Because my target. I hate this so much.
Joe Lincoln, she, her. Anyone with
Joe.
pronouns.
Yeah.
Instantly removed from any position. Ever. I mean, you are...
It's not just Joe Lincoln. Air Commodore Joe Lincoln. MBE. She, her.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sorry, but literally anyone with pronouns ever I find in professional life, I instantly dismiss.
Yeah.
And rightfully so, because this is what you'll get.
Well, it's just American communist.
Yeah. We'll go to back to the article because there's more deets that make it even worse. So further review indicated hundreds more had been disadvantaged, sources said. So those 31 are getting the first payout.
Good,
Mind
good.
hundreds of others. The RAF confirmed that the 31 individuals had received payouts, but did not confirm the amount.
I hope it's stacks of cash.
The revelations appear to contrast with repeated assurances by Air Chief Marshal Wigson that well-intentioned efforts to improve diversity were not discriminating against white men. Obviously,
That's because he's lying.
it's because it's a lie. Mike over here is telling you a lie. He doesn't care. The Chief of Air Staff...
I can't believe that the head of the Air Force is just blatantly lying to the public about racist discrimination.
Yeah.
Like, what a world.
He's due to retire from his post this week.
Oh, that's lucky for him.
It's almost like that's why he doesn't care.
Yeah.
Had also repeatedly insisted that his service operational capabilities were never impacted
Oh, yeah.
by hiring people less capable on the basis of their race and gender.
Yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. The RAF insisted that there was no contradiction between saying we don't discriminate and discriminating.
Amazing. It's very progressive.
I mean, to be fair, that is probably some PR person at the RAF who has to sit there and just knows they're in the wrong and through gritted teeth has to say that crap.
Yeah. Knows he's lying through his teeth.
Yeah. Under the subject line entitled Boarding Profile, the squadron leader wrote, I would be grateful if you would provide me with a breakdown of the candidates awaiting boarding, by branch, type of profession such as pilot, engineer or chef, and BAME, black, Asian, minority, ethnic, / female. He continued, I noted that the boards have recently been predominantly white, male, heavy. If we don't have enough BAME and female to board, then we need to make the decision to pause boarding and seek more BAME and female from the recruitment force.
Right. So that's very interesting. If we don't have enough BAME people, then what happens? Well, nothing.
The military collapses. We
Yeah,
can't fight
nothing.
Russia.
There's no negative consequence from that.
I think without BAMEs, we have no strength though, Carl.
Good point.
We are literally,
Literally,
worthless.
they're literally like our guns don't fire, our planes don't fly.
Yeah. I mean, this is why both sides in the Ukraine war are doing so well. It's because one side has
BAMEs, yeah.
Chechens and the other side has volunteers from Syria and Iraq. Without them, they'd be worthless.
Yeah, good point.
God. He says, I really don't need loads of useless white male pilots.
We might if we end up in a war.
Let's get as focused as possible. I am more than happy to reduce boarding if needed to have a balanced BAME female male board.
Who cares?
This
Why
guy.
is this external target suddenly mission critical?
Now, I messaged my dad this story because he was in the RAF.
Yeah, my dad was in the RF as well.
And I asked him, look at this. I mean,
My dad's probably watching right now. Dad, I'm sorry.
the actual state of it.
Yeah.
It's embarrassing. And he messaged me back something, and it made me roar with laughter when I read it. Because he messaged me back in my day, we used to care about UK diversity. My Zoomer
interesting.
brain had never even thought of that as a possibility.
Yeah, we need people from the north. We need people from Wales. We need
Yeah.
people from Scotland.
We need
yeah.
Manx. We
Yeah,
need people
yeah,
from Cornwall with their web feet. We need people from London with their weird voices.
Yeah, good point.
And you think for a minute, oh yeah, that's actually really good because it also gives you geographical knowledge and so forth. But instead, no, just black skin. That's all I care
Now we
about.
need to have the geographical knowledge of inner city London.
That's all we care for. That's where all the fighter planes go on the tube. So, another email.
Breaking into people's houses, filming on TikTok.
Have you not seen that meme where someone was talking about a 4chan? It was like, oh, what's the use of AR-15 when the military's got fighter pilots? Joe Biden saying this. And it was like, yeah, well, the fighter pilots aren't conducting door-to-door services, are they? And there's just a meme of like a fighter jet with a policeman's cap, just going, "Hello, sir." Anyway, people know. Another email sent the following day by the same squadron leader, who's not been fired for racism yet somehow, to a more senior member of the recruitment team, entitled "Boarding Profile Update," suggesting a struggle to hit diversity targets. Those efforts included the cancellation of boards that only comprised of white men.
Why not just start conscripting the diversity? Let's see how that goes down.
It's gonna have to be where we're gonna have to go.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
No,
how
you're
will we
being
defend
literally
ourselves?
press ganged into the RAF, son. Why me? Because you're black.
Is it because I was black? Yes, I'm getting there.
Yeah,
Kill the Russians. So, but I mean, that's just disgusting. I mean, any one of those men, any one of those
Such a
boards.
ridiculous- The white people are watching the RAF recruiters just rounding up the diversity and shipping them off, just like, well, what about us? No,
Well,
we
they're
don't
gonna
need
fit-
you. You're useless whites.
Birmingham's been emptied out.
Just what is going on?
Yeah. But any one of those men.
But this surely would have to be the sort of philosophy they have if there was a war. So, right, we need conscription. So, literally, they're just going to conscript all the foreigners to start fighting.
I mean, I support it.
Just-
Just for the seal. I mean, it would wake people up, if nothing else. So, any one of those men in any one of those boards can sue. And you should. And
Yeah.
take the money. Do not get any principled feelings about, I don't want to harm the RAF, the other.
Nah, screw them.
Take every penny you can. Everyone we've ever spoken to in this space
They
has
need
ever
to
dealt
step
with something similar.
They need to be like, they need to be held to account. And that's the only way they're going to understand is when their budget is impacted by this.
The only thing these people care about is money. So take it. Quote, you will note, however, that the pot for BAME and female is drained. They're all in the pot now. It's a resource.
The melting pot.
So I've got gold, I've got food, I've got wood, and then BAMEs.
They're running low. You need more beams.
Imagine having that. You're playing Command and Conqueror. You just can't recruit new rocket
Well,
launchers.
Yeah. Well, I'm thinking StarCraft, isn't it? You need more minerals.
So I'd like some more planes for the Air Force, please. And just a message comes out, there's not enough BAMEs in your pot.
Yeah. Well, you need 3 steel, 4 electricity, 5 beams.
Yeah. So, quote, from 336C's candidates, we have 10% female, 5% BAME, which we will burn through quickly from using the boarding profile presented.
Isn't that fascinating? That women and minorities don't actually want to join the Air Force.
No. They're free to at any point. We've actually lowered the standards for them.
They're begging for them.
We're even creating, you may remember, specialised helmets.
Yep.
Because, of course, a fighter pilot helmet...
Too heavy for women.
It's not just a piece of leather these days
No.
and some goggles. It's really, really expensive, made custom kit, like tens of thousands of pounds per helmet.
Yeah.
So, okay, we'll make some special ones for the women, and they're not joining. Not interested. But okay. The demand signal needs to be sent back to the recruitment force to focus now on speeding up all the BAMEs and female they have. We have cancelled 2 times boards next week due to them having no female BAME or priority branch on them. Priority branch, presumably just meaning more BAMEs.
Literally just can't function.
Yeah. There was a need to review the systemic issues that were causing a shorter return of service for BAME officers and their colleagues as well. Sorry. We have lower quality cohorts because we are hiring on the basis of race and femaleness, which is a spectrum,
You
presumably.
can just imagine some Indian guy joins the RAF through compulsion, probably.
And for some reason, he doesn't want to stick around.
Yeah, but then he goes back on holiday to India, and they're like, "What'd you do?" "Oh, I defend Britain." What? Why don't you defend India?
Yeah, but I just love that. Like, we're literally letting in everyone. That includes all the low-quality candidates because we need more browns and women. And then the guys doing recruitment are complaining that the people they've let in don't want to serve as long as previous cohorts because, well, they're not as invested. They're not the same quality of cohort.
No.
But okay, no one cares.
Don't you want to
Literally lowering
defend
standards.
England? No, not really. I expect the English to defend England.
I mean, our military tradition is literally being destroyed because you no longer have the same investment in terms of years in the service. But don't worry about that. That's not important. Knowledge. The message dated 19th of November 2020 under the subject BAME inflow expedite, all in caps, as well. He's angrily writing, give me more BAMEs.
We have a deadline here, folks.
Can you confirm the fitness test question is being asked and pursued? Because there are potentially some quick wins we can make here that make us all look better? Question mark.
Look better to who?
Don't know.
Like, who is the person in charge who's just like, where are the babes? Is it Rishi Sunak? That's 2020.
Yeah.
So it definitely wasn't Rishi Sunak. Who was Prime Minister in 2020? Was it Boris?
I think it was Boris, yeah. Boris is there like, I need more BAMEs.
Where are my BAMEs?
Oh,
I need BAMEs in the air.
What's up, my BAME?
Patrolling the skies. And some women.
God. An informed source...
It's Carrie's fault.
An informed source alleged that efforts were made around the time to fast-track ethnic minority and female recruits into the RAF, Halton and Buckinghamshire, without previously passing fitness tests.
Brilliant.
Indeed, they could take the test on their first day. This meant that they were offered employment, a place on the course, prior to undertaking a pass or fail fitness test, the source said. By contrast, before being offered employment, white men would have to pass the test, because it's, the entry test.
I just can't take it.
Ethnic minority, that sounds bad enough, right? Like, you don't have to take the test, right?
Yeah.
The effects of that are the real systemic racism against these white applicants.
Yep.
Ethnic minorities and female candidates would also clock up more service time and seniority than white male recruits as a result. They said this was morally wrong and meant that white male recruits were at a serious disadvantage.
Morally
of promotion.
wrong? Who cares? It's making us look good to whoever is holding us to account for this.
But it's not just direct discrimination in terms of we're not taking you because you're white. It's also systemic discrimination on the basis of we give priority to ethnics, therefore they have higher seniority, and therefore you are not able to get the promotions because they come first. First in, first up.
Yep.
Sky News, using the Freedom of Information Act, asked the RAF if any white men had submitted a service complaint for being disadvantaged by the Air Force. I mean, I would write one. Is it because I was white?
Write one. All write one.
You should write 10 a day.
Yeah.
So they said, I can tell you that fewer than 5 individuals had submitted a service complaint that was upheld.
So 4.
Of those that were submitted, we won't tell you the number. They said that would be a breach of confidence to tell you a number.
Right.
I don't know how a number would breach it, but 5 of them were
It's a breach
upheld.
of our confidence. Your confidence in us. Because when you hear how many digits this number is in, you're going to be furious.
However, the informed source alleged to Sky News that this included a white male cyberspace communication specialist.
Oh, yeah.
Not something we need in the modern day.
No. why would
Useless
we do
and
that?
white. Why would we want that? Well, he's the chap who's going to get a £5,000 payout. And the reason that it's £5,000 is because, well, the source claimed that this individual was held back from starting an RAF cyber training course because he was a white man. So he missed out on the opportunity to receive a golden hello of £5,000. It meant that he was paid later and unable to advance as fast as his female and ethnic minority counterparts.
I'd like him to have compensation for emotional damage as well, though.
Yeah,
We are regularly told that systemic racism has emotional consequences. These end up becoming generational as well. So his grandchildren need payments from the RAF for this.
reparations, my brother.
Yes.
I mean, I'm not joking. I'm very serious.
Yeah, no, screw you.
You know,
Do
we've
it.
been over this before. I genuinely think there is a completely morally correct, on the right side of history, whatever buzzword you want to use, civil rights movement for whites and men in this country.
Apparently there is now.
The reason the state does these sorts of things is because they want to destroy us. That is, by their own ideological superpositions, as we went through with Kimberly Crenshaw.
I don't know if I think I might be over-egging it a little bit. They just find us totally useless. And totally superfluous to requirements.
Yeah.
And in fact, it'd be better if we just didn't apply at all.
I'll end this off with something that they seem to have left out, Sky News. Don't know why. Don't know why they left this out. Here's the data of the kind of people who could even apply and those who are in it.
Okay.
So I did the math real quick. Quick maths. 77.5% of the UK pop is white and between 18 and 40. So the roughly military age
Yep.
standard. 77%. And yet, despite that, whites make up a overwhelming higher percentage in literally every part of the armed services.
Yep.
I mean, with the Air Force there, 3.5% BAME? So even though 77% of the possible people you could recruit are white, 90% of those who apply are white.
Well, weirdly, people who move to a foreign country aren't necessarily moving there to join their military.
Strange. But that statistic should be treated as a point of pride by the RAF, like high Gurkha representation being higher than the population. I mean, for example, Scots usually get a shout out whenever we talk about the army, because Scots and Celts are overrepresented in the army, and we're proud of that. Because we're like, yeah, great, they love the country, that's fantastic. But the idea that the white population loves the army, that is not a point of pride, but instead, F you whitey, you deserve nothing, and they would rather just hate us forever. And frankly, we should hate the forces back until they are proud of this concept, instead of deriding it and discriminating against white applicants.
It is utterly mind-blowing that the armed forces of the United Kingdom would be angry with the native population of the the United Kingdom.
And we have now evidence of direct and systemic discrimination against white applicants and men.
And they're making payouts as compensation for this discrimination.
Get your money, boys. If you appreciated that segment from the podcast of the Lotus Eaters, you can go to lotuseaters.com to get access to all the premium content that's on the site, such as the Epoch series, this episode on the Spanish Civil War. And if you want to find out what else is being put out, you can follow on Getter at lotuseaters_com on Getter. Thank you and goodbye.